Just ahead on Carolina Impact, we take you to an inner-city school where students have turned a winning soccer season into winning life skills. Plus, we meet some other terrific teens helping their peers deal with mental health issues through an impressive class project. And I'll take you to the library of North Carolina's most favorite son as folks celebrate Billy Graham's 95th birthday. And we wrap things up tonight by meeting a Johnson C. Smith student who's a powerful player on the football field and at the piano. Don't go anywhere. Carolina Impact starts right now. Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Amy Burkett, and this is Carolina Impact. Hopefully by now you know it as CI. We love telling your stories, and tonight we've got some great ones that you told us about. They've overcome obstacles and challenges other students have never experienced, and they believed in themselves. That spirit led the Garinger High School soccer team to win their division and go on to the playoffs undefeated. It's the first time the school's soccer team made it this far in decades. Carolina Impact reporter Sarah Batista shares how the team turned their trials into triumphs.
Hey!
I don't want to lose one game. You understand?
On this sunny day, the soccer team at Garinger High School is doing what they do best, winning. The Wildcats made it to the playoffs undefeated, 21 players who turned their lives around with the support and encouragement of a relentless coach and a protective teacher.
An A is possible.
For 16-year-old Ruben Patino, the other players are more than just teammates, they're family.
We care about each other in school and outside of soccer, like at home and stuff. We care about each other. We've known each other a long time now. So it's not just like soccer-wise, but friend-wise, family-wise.
Last year, Ruben admits he was not the honor roll student he is today. School wasn't a priority, and being on the soccer team seemed out of reach.
I used to skip school and stuff every day. And I was failing all my classes.
But then he switched schools, and suddenly he found himself at Garinger, surrounded by other teachers who cared. Teachers like Alexandra Iorio, who noticed Ruben had more potential than he was letting on.
Tomorrow, math.
Yeah.
Okay.
She believed if she could inspire Ruben and his classmates to do better in school, then the students would have a shot at making the soccer team.
A lot of kids were ineligible who wanted to play, who were good kids, smart kids, and they couldn't, they didn't have the grades. And so this year it's just been like amazing because we worked last spring and during the fall too, to sort of get their grades up, make sure that they were invested in school. So when eligibility time came this year, it was like a breeze. We were just like, oh, okay, like 2.5, 3.0, 3.5, like finally.
Students have to have a 2.0 grade point average to play sports. Slowly but surely, Ruben and some of his classmates became eligible to play soccer.
What are some of the changes you've seen in the players since this season started?
Several of the players had problems with authority, listening to a male role model. A lot of them don't have father figures in the home, and so when they joined the team, listening to me and responding to me was very difficult.
David Garrett is the team's head coach. He says together the team has made great strides, but there is more that makes this team unique. Several of them are first-generation Americans. The players represent 7 different countries, including Honduras, Mexico, and the Republic of the Congo.
They all have overcome huge obstacles. We have 2 of the starting players that their parents have been murdered, and we have many kids who go to bed hungry, who have to work in order to help their mom pay the bills.
18-year-old Darwin Barahona describes Coach Garrett as a lifesaver.
He came, he made me stay after school every day. He even got somebody to tutor me so I could do better.
Darwin struggled at the beginning of the year and was having discipline problems in the classroom. We ask all the players to sit in the front seat of all their classrooms to respect and honor their teachers, and if they don't play.
The goal, Coach Garrett says, is not just to kick the ball into the net. The real goal is teaching students how to win both on the field and in life.
It feels really good because we've never done this before. We're getting a lot of fans now, a lot of support from others, and it feels really great to be winning.
That winning streak has sparked a new sense of confidence in the players, and the morale among students and staff at Garinger High School is shifting. More people are sticking around to watch the games.
They're so invested, and there's been a lot of excitement and a lot of support. I mean, for our games, we have teachers and staff giving like food before games. It's awesome.
16-year-old Juan Carlos Ramirez is already proving to be a leader. He moved to the U.S. last year and has since learned English. His goal is to become a professional soccer player.
The thing we make us different is because we love each other than other teams, and we got assisted. So that's makes us different than other teams.
If Ruben graduates high school, he'll be the first in his family to go to college. He's determined to play soccer at the professional level.
I want to make it pro. If I don't make it pro, I want to open up a store or something. I want to be a businessman.
Until then, there are many more goals to achieve. For Carolina Impact, I'm Sarah Batista reporting.
What a great group of kids. We wish them all the best. Thanks so much, Sarah. You know, Garinger made it to the state playoffs, but unfortunately lost in triple overtime, short of their goal of a state title. Garinger finished the season with 22 wins and just 1 loss, a dramatic improvement over last year's record of 9-4. Well, last year, Davidson had a suicide rate that was 5 times the national average. One local school project took a look at the issue of mental health as part of a class project producing a video that received presidential recognition. Here's a look at a group of truly terrific teens from the Woodlawn School that made a difference.
It just means that we should be free to go figure it out, and because you're not going to learn it, right, unless you explore it yourself.
Yeah, the intent of the Movies and Medicine class that I taught this past spring was to engage the kids in a discussion about pathophysiology and the etiology of disease. I thought, well, we're going to eventually make a film as the centerpiece of our class. Why not choose mental health, especially as it was endemic to the Davidson area?
In 2012, the town of Davidson had 5 suicides, and there also are 12 attempts on record, just in Davidson, and that's 5 times the national average.
That looks really good.
This school has been in operation for some years here, and the students are actively involved in the town in various activities. And a great example is this Lifeline project that we have started that is a citizen-led project that brings a focus on mental health.
Claire and I are part of this program called the Lifeline program. So this curriculum I developed is to empower teenagers specifically to follow their passions, and through their passions to apply what they feel, for those interests, those hobbies, apply it to life so that they don't feel like they have to go down the path of, suicidal thoughts or depression.
Many different people had different ideas and intentions on where they wanted the project to go.
Editing a project like this was really a learning experience because we had to figure out a way to correctly convey the certain emotions that we ended up conveying quite well, I think.
My sort of main role in the project was to contribute creative ideas as to how we portray each mental illness.
I think mental illness has sometimes an incorrect coverage, or it's not covered enough, because when you look at diseases like breast cancer or leukemia, things like that, that's really what's getting, people think, oh, that's a disease, that's easily classified. But with mental illness, it's a little more gray, and a lot of people don't think people have certain things, like people don't think depression's not really a disease.
I really did learn a lot with the mental illnesses and the different misconceptions, and it was really great to learn all the different things.
Just like you need to heal a broken leg, you need to help them heal like their depression, you need to talk to them about it and try to like establish like what is making them unhappy and what you can possibly do to help them.
So we've pulled together different stakeholder groups, mental health professionals, school administrators, students, parents, clergy, to ask that exact question. Why here? Why now? What do you think's going on? And then most importantly, what can we put in place to help minimize the risk?
Some of the students have either friends or relations, or even in one particular instance, one of the students themselves had a mental health related issue. And so it was personal, and you could see that in the PSA. It was powerful, it was poignant, and it was because the kids put their heart and souls into it and had a personal investment in the project. To many, life can be all about what other people think about them.
That's why we made this video.
Another example of some really terrific teens. Well, I want to thank the school's teacher for emailing me that story idea. Truly, those kids were fantastic. You know what? If you need some information, more information concerning mental health disorders, you can contact the Mental Health Association of Central Carolinas at mhacentralcarolinas.org. You know, we're out of the studio now, obviously, and we're talking birthday parties. I don't know, I still love birthdays. How about you?
I do indeed, and we're having a big one this week.
You are exactly right. Special guest Preston Parrish is joining me from the Billy Graham Evangelical Association. He is in charge of My Hope America, which is in honor of Billy Graham's 95th birthday, perhaps his, well, it will be his largest crusade ever?
That's right. My Hope America with Billy Graham, which culminates this week in conjunction with his 95th birthday, is the largest undertaking ever of this ministry all across the United States.
I grew up with my grandmother watching Billy Graham crusades at home when I was just a little pup.
And so many people have, and so many people are used to coming to a stadium to hear Billy Graham preach. What's interesting about My Hope America is that in this, his 95th year, he has videotaped a fresh message to our nation. And it's going to be available on television and on the internet and via DVD, where people will be able to have Billy Graham right in their home with their friends, family members, neighbors, and he'll be sitting there with them, sharing the good news of Jesus Christ that he's preached all over the world.
And we're here on the grounds of the Billy Graham Library. Behind us is the library, and that barn, which so many people don't realize the story behind it.
Right.
But you've known Billy for decades.
Yes.
You shared, and he grew up on a farm as a farm boy?
He did, just about 3 miles from here. He grew up on a dairy farm. And after we relocated the headquarters of the organization from Minneapolis, Minnesota, where it was for many years, to here in Charlotte, and moved into the new office building, he was here. And I asked him that day, Mr. Graham, did you ever imagine that there would be a headquarters, a building, right here on this location, just 3 miles from the dairy farm? He said, I never dreamed there would even be an organization. And so probably nobody is more surprised than he is at how God has chosen to use him to convey the message of God's love through faith in Jesus Christ to people all over the world.
You know, not everybody gets to celebrate a 95th birthday, but you would expect Billy Graham to do it up. And this is really unique, to move his organization from sitting in those stadiums to that one-on-one relationship. I believe you shared there's about 25,000 churches across America that are involved in this My Hope.
That's right, there are, and in each of those churches there are lots of individuals, members, who are going to be opening their homes and having their friends in. And this really gets to the heart of what the Billy Graham Crusades have been over the years. Even though people think of the great crowds in stadiums, we know from our own research that by and large people have come to Billy Graham Crusades over the years because somebody they know invited and or brought them. And this is really the same approach. It just makes it a little easier. Instead of taking them to a stadium, they can just invite them into their home, feed them some good food, and share with them this message from Billy Graham.
Talk to us a little bit about Billy, someone who's had the opportunity to get to know him. He is North Carolina's most favorite son. He's been called America's pastor. And while sometimes pastors of high profile have fallen and gotten into trouble and had challenges, and others have had political agendas and been involved, Billy has been the guy who's pretty much just kind of stayed true to the message and stayed authentic and true. Have you seen that, getting to know the man himself?
Absolutely. He is authentic, and as we were talking earlier, I think of him in terms that North Carolinians would appreciate, much like one of our beloved lighthouses on the coast. He's been there steady, shining through the storms of our personal and collective lives. He's been there consistently offering that cheerful light of welcome from God to people passing through the night. He's been a faithful voice warning people about shoals and reefs that could destroy them if they wandered into them. And he really has just been an enormous, faithful guide to generations, but of course he would be the first to say that the light he shines is the light of the world, the Lord Jesus Christ.
So here on the property we have the library, which has a lot of interactive exhibits designed by some folks who even helped design some Disney exhibits.
That's
Can you
right.
talk to us a little bit about this?
Sure. When we were beginning to design the library, this visitor experience that tens of thousands of people now come to, the desire was not for it to be about Billy Graham. That was number one. That was his insistence, is to be about the message he's proclaimed. But it was also intended for it not to be just some stale, dry place where you would come and look at artifacts, but an interactive experience in which visitors were immersed in their time here. That's why even as you go into the lobby, there's Bessie the cow. Billy Graham grew up on a dairy farm, and Bessie the cow talks to everybody, and especially the kids, and gets them involved in this experience right from the start.
And also on the property we have his childhood home.
We do, right here. And he spent lots of time growing up in this house. It was in this house that his mother especially instilled in him the love for Christ that has shaped his life. And over the years, as his ministry became known, he brought a number of well-known people to this house in its former location on Park Road here in Charlotte. President Nixon even came to this house. And it's an important part of the life of Billy Graham that we're so delighted is now sitting right here on the property, and people can come and walk through.
Now, I didn't double check today, but one time I was here several years ago, before I even lived in Charlotte, I believe Mrs. Graham is buried on this property?
She is.
And doesn't her tombstone say something like construction complete? Because her whole life she used to talk about she was a life under construction, and after her death, her construction was finally
She
complete.
had a great sense of humor. And one day she was riding down the interstate and got caught in one of these road construction areas. And of course the traffic gets very slow. And then finally when they got through it, there was a sign saying essentially that, construction completed, thank you for your patience. And she thought, what a great thing to say over my life when I go to heaven. Construction completed. Thank you for your patience.
Preston Parrish, what else do you want people to know, as many have said chances are this will be Billy's last large evangelical outreach? What does the public need to know?
Well, I think the message of this moment, his 95th birthday, My Hope America, is that this message that he believed years ago as he was a farm boy here in Charlotte, and that has so shaped his life, and that he's had the privilege of communicating to millions of people around the world, that message is unchanged. Billy Graham's old now, and he himself says at some point in the near future he'll go to heaven. But what he would want people to know through this is that message of God's love for them in Jesus Christ, the offer of forgiveness and rescue and a new start, and a life filled with meaning and purpose. It's available to everybody all the time. And with his last bits of energy, he wants people to know that and to get in on it.
And Preston, Billy's been such an example of that love for everyone he's come in contact with. I hope from all of us at PBS Charlotte, you will wish him happy birthday.
We will do that, and that will mean so much to him. Thank you so much.
Well, you know what? For more information on the Billy Graham Library, you can head to billygrahamlibrary.org, or you can give them a call at the number that you see on your screen. Well, we're going to wrap things up today talking football. And football is not just a home for the rugged athlete. It's also home to the thoughtful academic who expresses himself through art. In this case, we're actually talking about the piano. Carolina Impact reporter Jack Brayboy shares the impressive story of a college student with both brain and brawn.
All coming. All out.
Austin Jock loves to play football. He's number 50, a
a sophomore, starting linebacker for Johnson C. Smith University.
People say you take out your anger and frustrations. Maybe I subliminally do that, but all my problems, all my everything, that's not on my mind when I play, you know? It's my assignment, the man next to me, just like the desire, like this is what we gotta do to win. And if I get an opportunity and I see the hit, take it, take his head off. Like, do that. Ooh, hear the crowd and all that. That's like, you get a thrill.
His natural ability goes far beyond his skills on defense. A true student athlete, Austin carries a 3.8 grade average in his major. And his major is music performance. Now get this, Austin taught himself to play only 4 years ago when he was in high school. His only formal training began just 1 year ago when he came to Smith as a freshman.
1 and 10, now keep going. He has excellent raw talent as far as playing piano. I think the thing that really impressed me was when I first met him, and he did a piano transcription of Flight of the Bumblebee. And I saw all of those skills right there, and I was amazed.
When I play, a lot of times I just zone out, and I just enjoy. I'll be up here for hours in Grimes Lounge, like for hours. Like this is just my place of peace, where to get away, you know. Whether it comes to me being an entrepreneur now, owning my own business, the stresses of that, school, sports, it's just me and the music. You know? But it's fun, you know? I'll be up here.
The first time I heard him play was actually, he was just over in Grimes, just messing around, and I heard him then, and then he played for a couple of events. The first thing that comes to mind with Austin is that he is very goal-driven and very, knows what he wants and how he's going to go about and get it. He's planned his whole time out here at Johnson C. Smith. From the first time I met him until today, he knows exactly what he wants and has exactly planned out how he's going to get there.
Now, when the football program decided to give Austin a scholarship, they knew they were getting a good football player and a good student. But this whole piano playing thing, that came as a pleasant surprise.
It's an opportunity to see the academic side of him on the field, that he's smart. And I think that's a unique talent, playing the piano. And I don't think just anyone can do that, playing football and playing the piano, you know, when they relate to two. But I think just with him having to read the keys under his fingertips and read the keys on the field, both play a big part, and with him being successful as a student athlete.
I don't play football to clear my head, but I know that music can be a remedy for me. If I had something on my mind, whatever, I can just play it all out. And however I feel at the time, that's exactly the sound that will come out.
Is he a rare find around here?
Yes, he is a rare find. You don't very often, it's hard to find a young man that is, that's focused and as focused as he is on his academics, on playing football, as well as being successful in his own business.
I see him being very successful, changing his community, as well as leading others that's behind him.
The content in your character is really reflected. That's what they say amongst others. But honestly, I really just ask the Lord to order my steps, because from the outside in, if you look at me, oh, he's doing this, he's doing that. But I know from the inside out, I know my struggles, the things I have to do to stay focused, to stay driven. But overall, I believe I am developing to a very well-rounded young man.
For Carolina Impact, I'm Jack Brayboy reporting.
What an impressive young man with a big, bright, beautiful future ahead of him. Thanks so much, Jack, for sharing his story with us. Well, we'd love to hear your story ideas from across our 13-county region. Please email them to me, amy.burkett@cpcc.edu. I'd also love to hear what you think about tonight's stories. Leave us a comment at facebook.com/WTVI Charlotte or on Twitter @WTVI. Your opinions are so incredibly important to us. As the only PBS station serving this region with local content, we look forward to telling your stories in the future. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I hope to see you back here again next time on Carolina Impact. Good night.